Forget the 8 versus 20 debate. Did you know the people of Medina, the city of the Prophet, peace be upon him, once prayed 36 raka'ah, not 8, not 20, 36. So if the Prophet, peace be upon him, prayed 11, and Umar ibn al-Khattab organized 20, where did 36 come from? And which one are you actually following? There's one sentence of the Prophet, peace be upon him, that ends 90% of this debate. Stay with me. By the end of this video, we're also going to map out the Witr prayer, including a major Maghrib mistake that might be invalidating it for many people. Comment below. What does your masjid pray? And if you're new here, hit subscribe, like, and share. Let's look at the evidence. So what is Taraweeh exactly? Taraweeh is the night prayer of Ramadan. It's basically Qiyam al-Layl in Ramadan. Also, the Qiyam of Ramadan, a voluntary high reward prayer. The Prophet, peace be upon him, gave us an incredible anchor for this. He said, whoever stands in prayer during Ramadan with faith and hoping for reward, all his past sins will be forgiven. Notice, the Prophet, peace be upon him, mentioned faith and reward. Not a number. But if the reward is this big, why did the Prophet, peace be upon him himself, stop leading it publicly? Now let's go back to Medina. Picture a quiet Ramadan night. The Prophet, peace be upon him, comes to the masjid and begins praying the night prayer. People joined. Next night, more came. By the third night, the mosque is packed. And then on the fourth night, the mosque is full. The Prophet, peace be upon him, doesn't come out. The next morning, when the Prophet, peace be upon him, explains why. Nothing prevented me from coming out to you, except that I feared it would be made obligatory upon you. So what's the first big lesson? The Prophet, peace be upon him, intentionally left this worship open and flexible. After the Prophet, peace be upon him, passed away, the companions still prayed Qiyam in Ramadan, but people would pray in different corners of the masjid. Some alone, some in small groups. There wasn't one organized congregation every night. During his Khilafah, Umar ibn al-Khattab entered the masjid. People praying here, people praying there, different recitations, different distracting groups. To fix this system error, he decides to unite everyone behind one Imam, Ubay ibn Ka'b. He instructed them to pray 20 rakats. Why 20? Because it was sustainable. By shortening the recitation per rak'ah, but increasing the number of units, not a single Sahabi objected, not Ali, not Uthman. It became the organized community standard because it was about access and unity. So now we have two big pieces on the table. The Prophet, peace be upon him, prayed Qiyam and left it flexible, and he stopped leading publicly out of mercy. Umar Razi Allah Ta'ala Anhu organized people into one congregation for unity and ease. Now let's tackle the big question, 8 or 20. The strongest evidence people use for 8 Taraweeh is the famous hadith of Aisha Razi Allah Ta'ala Anha. She said that the Prophet, peace be upon him, never exceeded 11 rak'ahs in Ramadan or outside of it. 8 Taraweeh plus 3 Witr equals 11. And this is the foundation for everyone who says Taraweeh should be 8 rakat. And there's another layer to this that people often miss. They weren't the 8 rakat most of us pray today in 15 or 20 minutes. Not even close. Aisha Razi Allah Ta'ala Anha herself described them. She said, do not ask me about their beauty and their length. If this is what the Prophet, peace be upon him, pray 8, how did 20 become so common among the companions and scholars? Let's go there. Now why did 20 dominate in real masjid life? The Prophet, peace be upon him, also gave us a beautiful principle about night prayer. He said, the night prayer is 2 by 2. So why did the companions move from 8 long raka'at to 20 shorter ones? The Prophet, peace be upon him, himself said, whoever leads people in prayer, let him make it light. For among them are the elderly, the weak, and those who have needs. 20 shorter rak'at wasn't a downgrade. It was the same devotion, restructured so that the entire community could participate. And think about it this way. If you pray 20, the 8 are already inside those 20. But if you stop at 8, you're leaving 12 rakat on the table. 12 that the Prophet's peace be upon him, own companions, prayed without a single objection from anyone. Now some people might say, fine, 8 and 20. I get it. But you said 36 at the beginning. What was that about? During the era of the great leader Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, the Muslims in Medina were praying 36 rakat of Taraweeh plus 3 Witr. That's 39 in total. You see, in Makkah, during Taraweeh, people would take breaks between every set of 4 rakat. And during those breaks, they would make tawaf around the Kaaba. They were adding extra worship in the gaps. But the people of Medina couldn't do tawaf. They didn't have the Kaaba. So instead, they filled those breaks with additional rakat, extra voluntary prayers to try to match the reward of the Makkans. Think about that. If numbers were fixed, how could 36 exist? Maybe the debate was never about a fixed number. Alright, let's put everything together now. The Prophet prayed fewer rak'ah, but extremely long. Umar structured more rak'ah, but shorter. If 8 with deep khushu brings you closest to Allah, that's beautiful. If 20 with the community and consistent rhythm keeps you strong through Ramadan, that's also beautiful. And the Prophet gave us one more gift that honestly should settle hearts. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "Whoever prays with the Imam until he finishes, it is written for him as if he prayed the entire night." This hadith shifts the mindset from counting to completing with the Imam. Now let's do a quick teaser on Witr, because this is where confusion becomes even bigger. Witr is usually prayed after Taraweeh. And here's the honest truth. Different fiqh schools have different common methods. Many people pray 3 together, very common in Hanafi communities, and Witr is treated as extremely emphasized. Many people pray 2 plus 1, common in Shafi'i and Hanbali practice. And there's also an important hadith. There are no 2 witrs in one night, meaning don't repeat Witr twice. Now here's the curiosity part. A big mistake people argue about is making 3 raka'ah Witr exactly like Maghrib in every detail. Some scholars strongly warn against copying Maghrib shape, while others say their method has differences and is valid. Tell me in the comments, how do you pray Witr 2 plus 1 or 3 together? Let's end where we started. The irony of the 8 versus 20 debate is that while we fight over numbers, we break our khushu, the one thing that actually makes the prayer count. The Prophet, peace be upon him, promised forgiveness for the one who stands in Ramadan with faith and seeking reward, not the one who wins a number battle. Show up. Be present. Now, I want to hear from you. What does your masjid pray? 8 or 20? And how do you pray Witr? If this video gives you clarity, subscribe and share it with someone who needs a calmer view of this topic. See you in the next one.